Okay, hi guys. I don't think I have very much memory on my phone, so I'm going to talk quickly. Today, I had a dream, and I wanted to share it with you guys. I've had a lot of dreams I haven't really shared because my situation is not good for having enough privacy to really make a video, but this one I'm going to share. Okay. So, earlier today, this morning, I dreamed that I was in some type of like a press room or just some type of press room, I'll call it, and I was a staff member, or I guess I was a staffer, and what was going on was Obama had just been made president again. I don't know if it was an election or however it happened, I don't know, but he was sworn in. He had just gotten sworn in. The dream didn't show the swearing in, but what was going on was we were waiting for him to come into that room. As staffers, we were waiting for him to come into that room, and it was something like a press room. I don't know. But so we were waiting, and so I was dreading for him to come in there because somehow this had kind of happened before. And when it happened before, he was focused on me because like to see what my reaction was. Somehow I was going to be like under pressure because he was going to be looking to see if I was disapproving. And it kind of reminded me of, if you remember the story in the book of Esther, how Haman was an important person in the king's court. And Mordecai, the Jew, refused to bow down whenever Haman came in through the gates into the palace. So everybody would bow down to Haman because he had a lot of power and authority in the king's court. But Mordecai, the Jew, refused to bow down to him because he said, I'm not bowing down to anybody except for God. So Haman hated Mordecai, and that's the reason why Haman wanted to not only just kill Mordecai, but all the Jews in the kingdom of Babylon, because they serve a God, or the God, that will not allow us to bow down to anyone. And him only will we serve. So anyway, that's the kind of pressure that would be on me whenever Obama was in there, because he could tell that I was not happy about him being president again. So like I said, it was somehow like it happened before. I don't know how that goes. That's weird. But it was about to happen. He was sworn in, which that part didn't show in the dream. And then we were waiting on him in this kind of a press room for him to make his triumphant return. It was like they announced him. Like, I bring to you, after his swearing in, they're like, I bring to you the President of the United States. That's what we were waiting on. And I was dreading it because I knew he was going to be looking at me to see, you know, if I was, you know, upset about it or whatever. So anyway, there was some kind of distraction that happened. And so me and whatever the other staffers, we were all discussing like, oh, here he comes. Can't believe he's president again. Like, okay, we knew this was going to happen. We knew this was coming. Here it is. So I was kind of with people who felt the way I felt, who knew that this was prophesied by a lot of people and that we just been waiting for him to come back in power, even though nobody believed that it could happen or would happen. So we were discussing that and dreading waiting for him to come in. So he was somewhere else, like being sworn in, and then he was going to come through there and like wave at the crowd like a press conference, something like a press conference, and they were going to announce that he was president, and then he was going to pass on through. I don't know if he was going to the Oval Office or wherever he was going. So when it came time for him to come in, some distraction happened. So he wasn't paying attention. Me and the other staffers, we had to go see to whatever it was that happened. So we weren't there. Like where everybody was supposed to be clapping as he came in, he was going to be looking to see if we were clapping. And so I didn't have to go through that because some distraction happened and we had to go take care of the distraction at the time when he was coming through. So he passed through. We didn't even see him. We were busy taking care of whatever happened. And he was so busy being like soaking up all of this applause and attention and admiration at him being president again. He was just, oh man, he just lived off of it. He lived off of it. It was really crazy. I can't believe other people don't notice what a deep pit of arrogance he is and how no amount of attention is ever enough for him. He really feels like he should be the center of attention at all times. Like, what else would anybody be looking at except for great me? Incredible me. So that's how he was. So he also got distracted by all the applause and people cheering him, and he didn't bother with us. So the other thing I knew in the dream was that he already was in charge. Him being declared president was just a formality. For one thing, because the United States was nothing. The United States was literally nothing. I don't even know why this title was so important, because the United States in my dream was nothing special anymore. And also, in my dream, the world was already under world government. The world government already, in other words, the reason why the United States wasn't anything is because there's world government. And the United States has no power to not do what the world government says. And as you guys know, we are not a sovereign nation because we follow so-called guidelines and mandates of the World Health Organization, which is the United Nations. So when we started doing all of that, we gave up our sovereignty. And there also was a law that was passed, I don't know if it was 2017 or 2018, but it was called the GDPR. And that also was the beginning of the assault on the sovereignty of nations, the United States and the European nations, where they made themselves accountable to international powers, that they were given power to regulate things concerning the internet and to make individual nations conform to these international rules regarding how to conduct business on the internet. I don't know if you guys remember a couple of 2 or 3 years ago where everybody had to go in and update terms of service, and where they started saying this site uses cookies, you have a right to not use this site, and all that stuff. All that stuff happened because of this law called the GDPR. And it's regulating the businesses that do business in certain places to make sure that you follow the laws of that nation. So in other words, now your country's laws are not supreme. So in other words, it was just a trick to bring everybody under global government and get every nation used to making their laws secondary to international law. So, and social distancing is martial law. Social distancing did not go through any of the processes whereby we in the United States, under the contract that the United States has with the citizens, there are prescribed ways that laws are passed according to the Constitution, but we have, all those things have been usurped by international guidelines, and our government just caved into all of that because, you know, they're paid off and going to the highest bidder, and we just don't have a sovereign nation anymore. I know that was a rant, a babbling rant, but so that's what happened in my dream. Obama was president again. And it was so real. The dream was so real. When I woke up, I know I say this a lot, but when I woke up, I was so surprised that it was a dream because it just was real. It was just like me sitting here right here. So when I woke up, I was like, you know, wow, that was a dream. It was so real that in the dream, I was talking with someone about how even these people are still not going to believe it, even though we said this was going to happen. And people who said it could never happen, and then, you know, the Lord would tell the future through his prophecy, even the people still would not believe it. I had people that said, okay, if Obama gets back in office, which is impossible, then I'll believe you. But I know that he's going to come back into office as the president of the United States. Yes, as the president. Now, may he be over the UN? Sure. But for some reason, I don't know if it's just important to him or whatever, but he will be the president of the United States. Yes. So we were marveling about that. And I was even in the dream, I was saying to myself, I was thinking about, am I going to do this or not? But I was going to make a video. And all I was going to say on the video was, I told you. Told you. And that was going to be the end of the video. So then I was thinking, okay, that'd be kind of smart alecky. Maybe I shouldn't do that. And that's when I woke up. And I was also, I got to say this too, there was a guy, he was a homosexual man, and he and I were friends. We were good friends, and we were laying in a field, and I was using him like as a pillow, and we were just friends, but we were talking about the Obama situation, so he knew about all that. But the problem is, especially when I woke up, I felt very convicted because we're not supposed to have pleasure in sin and in people who are practitioners of sin and abomination. So I'm praying, and pray for me that the Lord will reveal this to me and to you too if you need to know, how do you treat people who are walking in that type of sin? I mean, you know, we're not supposed to treat people bad, but at the same time, you can't take pleasure. It says those people who are doing these abominations, they're condemned, and also the people who take pleasure in them. So I'm praying that God will show me, how are you supposed to treat these people? I know we're not supposed to walk by people, push them in the mud, spit on them and all that stuff. No. But at the same time, you can't be all chummy-chummy. You cannot be all chummy-chummy with that. You're not doing your gay. Now, I'm not even going to say gay. I'm going to say homosexual. You're not doing your homosexual friends and relatives any favors by pretending like there's nothing wrong with the lifestyle that they're engaged in, because if you truly do love them, you're not going to want to make them comfortable in something that's going to cost them their souls. You don't want to help them forget that God does not allow this. But I don't know how we're supposed to do that. I really don't know. Because I know we're not supposed to just treat people like dirt. So I'm asking God how to do that. I've asked this question way before all this gay rights and stuff. This was from the very beginning, because the church that we were going to when I was a teenager, the pastor, man, he hated homosexuals. He used to talk about them so bad. And it was really acceptable in society to just talk about them like they were just the scum of the earth. So, but I didn't never feel right about it. It just didn't feel right to me. But I want to know, and at the same time, we cannot be all chummed up with that. So, I think that was everything. So I felt very convicted about that. And funny enough, I was with somebody who is a homosexual the other day, and we were talking, and just like I wasn't really mentioning the fact that they were homosexual. So I think maybe that's why God let that part be in my dream, because I can't do that. I cannot do that. I cannot make this person feel like everything is okay. But I don't really know how to treat them. Maybe I should, but I don't. So that's it. I dreamed that Obama was president again. And it was so, so real. And I think that when we see that happen, it's going to be a big signal. And I also have a feeling, don't look for anybody to suddenly start believing you about all the stuff that you've been saying just because you're right about Obama being president again. It's not going to mean anything to them. It's not going to mean anything to them. It's all going to just seem like a big coincidence. It doesn't matter how much of the stuff that we've been saying, or it doesn't matter how many so-called conspiracy theories are now coming to be reality. How we were saying the economy is going to crash, it's not going to recover. It doesn't matter how all those things come true, because they watch so much TV. They receive so much constant programming that puts a spin on everything that's happening, to the point where they're accepting these alternate explanations rather than just admitting or being able to see that they're being lied to. They just swallow the next lie and the next lie and the next lie and the next lie. So sad as that is and frustrating as that is, only thing we can really do is pray for them, that they repent of their sins, because their sins are the reason why they are blind. Okay, that's very long. A long video for me to say a little bit. But anyway, God bless you guys. I'm praying for everybody. You know, I love all you guys. And the most important thing is keep the faith. Keep the faith in the Bible. The Bible is literally true. It is literally true. God created the earth in 7 days. In 6 days, and he rested on the seventh day. He formed man of the dust of the earth, and he breathed into man's nostrils the breath of life. The earth has foundations. The earth is the Lord's footstool. There's a firmament that separates the waters from the waters. And no one can discover the foundations of the earth. A spinning ball that's hurling through space doesn't have a foundation. The Bible is true. And it's the only thing that's true. It's the solid rock. It's the foundation. Everything that man has, this natural world, science, and all that stuff, is theories, based on assumptions, based on guesses, based on pure lies. And the only difference between them and us is that we admit that we have a belief. We admit and know that we walk by faith. they're claiming that they have facts, even though they call them all theories. And then they base more theories on those theories. So they have absolutely no foundation whatsoever. But I don't know, they say we have a religion, but ours is based on a lot more than what theirs is. Our religion, our faith, and the thing that we base our faith on, at least it has this going for it. It explains human nature, it matches up with history, and it is predicting, as old as it is, as ancient as it is predicting everything, even up until this very time and into the future. And that's because it is the truth. Yes, we believe it is the truth, so it is by our faith, but nevertheless, it is the truth. And we have a lot more reason to trust in what we trust in than what they have from a bunch of liars. And science that's revamped and proven wrong every 10 years, every 2 years. Anyway, God bless you guys. Be encouraged. Don't give up. Even if you're standing alone, do not give up. Be encouraged. And always remember Moses and the children of Israel as they stood at the Red Sea. That's where we're coming to. We're coming to the Red Sea. And at the Red Sea, they literally had everything looked like it was lost. Everything looked like all was lost. And Moses said to them, stand still and see the salvation of our God. And he raised up his staff and parted the Red Sea, and they went through on dry ground when there seemed to be absolutely no hope. We are going to come to that point where there seems to be absolutely no hope. And just when you think it's all over, God will come through. Same thing when the disciples lost Jesus. When Jesus was crucified and they did not understand that he was going to rise from the dead, they were so distraught. They were so broken because everything that they were trusted in seemed like it was just gone when Jesus died, not understanding that all their joy would be renewed again when he rose from the dead. So we're going to face a time like that. It's going to seem like everything is over. There's no hope, and there will be no earthly hope. But we're waiting on a moment that was like the moment at the Red Sea. And when you get into that place where there's absolutely no hope whatsoever, earthly speaking, understand that's the time to stand still and see the salvation of God. So, God bless.